Health insurance can often be confusing and complicated. Understanding your health is important. Having insurance helps a lot, but it doesn't mean all your healthcare is going to be free. Public and private health insurance are two different types of insurance systems that help individuals and families cover the costs of medical expenses and healthcare services. Public health insurance is typically provided by the government and is designed to ensure that a certain level of health is accessible to all citizens regardless of their financial status. This type of healthcare aims to promote equitable access to medical services and reduce the burden of health costs on individuals. Private health insurance is offered by private insurance companies and is purchased by individuals or employers to supplement the coverage provided by public health insurance or to gain access to additional medical services and facilities. On this episode, we get to understand the difference between private and public insurance and what they cover and what they don't. It may sound complicated, but stay with us.
A very warm welcome to you and thank you for joining us on yet another episode of Health and Wellness. My name is Zaitun Ali, and on today's episode, when I talk about health insurance, what comes to mind? Are they affordable? Are they reliable? Are they accessible? And to help us dissect this matter, on set I have Timothy from NHIF, and I also have Julius from Liaison Insurance, just to tell us what this means. Karibuni to the set.
Thank you very much. So when we talk about health insurance, we are talking about an insurance that helps you to meet your medical costs. That should be the basic understanding of health insurance. And in NHIF, we offer health insurance based on the National Health Insurance Fund Act of 2022. That act empowers us to offer health insurance to all the people in the nation, comprehensive insurance, to ensure that people can be able to access quality, accessible and affordable healthcare across the country.
Good. Yeah. Maybe we cross over to you.
Thank you, Zaituni, and thank you also for giving us this opportunity to come and talk about health. You find health is one of the most basic needs for each and every person in our society to date. As you have said, my name is Julius Kitheka from Liaison Group. Liaison Group is a firm that deals with risk and insurance, healthcare, which has actually brought us here, pension and investments. From where I sit, I take care of the healthcare business. And as you have said, the health insurance is that aspect of making sure that the expenses that members get at any facility can be able to be taken care through insurance. That is the protection that the members want, the peace of mind that each and every person wants in today's world. That is an easy definition of healthcare insurance.
That is true. But let me come back to you, Timothy. And what does one need in terms of health insurance? What do you look at when you're going to find one?
When you are looking for a health insurance, it's important first to understand your health needs. Because different age profiles have different health needs. You also look at affordability of the health cover that you are looking at. If I'm talking from the NHIF perspective, then NHIF is empowered by legislation to offer health insurance, and now through the administration of NHIF, we do have different covers that we give based again on the needs of the members. If, for example, you are young, and with NHIF we operate on the social principle, which says that the young people support the older people, the healthy support the sick, and the rich support the vulnerable or less rich. That's why our contributions are graduated, but the benefits that we offer are similar, are the same. If, for example, I go to Kenyatta National Hospital,
yes,
and I am paying the maximum, which is currently 1,700, and there's somebody else who is contributing 150 shillings, we are still going to have the same access to cover. So you have to look at the premium, you also have to look at your health needs.
Yes.
Whereas from NHIF perspective, we may not subject you to any screening. You will be required to, or you'll be able to access all the benefits that are covered in the NHIF cover by virtue of being a member. So you also need to register with us. You should be a member and also declare your dependence, and I'll share a little bit more about that as we proceed, so that you can be able to access health insurance under NHIF.
Yeah, but so for me currently, being an employee of Standard Group, by default, I have NHIF, and maybe I'll ask this to Julius. So what else do I need? What do I need to now get a private insurance? And why should I get you private insurance, like for someone like me who already has this this parastatal by default?
Thank you, Zaituni. The way insurance works is there are two types of insurance. There's that insurance that we just compensate your loss. That we call them mostly on property insurance. But on a medical insurance is a benefit of contract. We usually say it is that expenses that you will incur in a hospital. And these ones are not a must that it is exactly where you are, because when you have NHIF as an insurance, that is the compulsory insurance that the government has already given you. But also you need to have a wider insurance in case of any other eventuality that you can be able to have. Because we say if government has taken care of us at this level, we need also to come in and also be able now to give you what the government cannot also be able to give you.
Offer.
And that's why the private insurance comes in. This is a practice which has also been done even in our own developed world, and it has been able to work so well when they complement each other. When you go to a hospital, NHIF will come first. For example, if it's an inpatient cover. But after that, there are also what now the private insurance which you have will be able to cover. As Timothy had said, that what you need for any health insurance is first your profile, your personal profile, knowing your age, because there is what we calculate called risk profiles to know. Depending on this age, the age group, let's say 0 to 18, this is what their risk profile is, until the age when we have even retired. There are ways of calculating how it is done. That is number one. Two, we can also check on your occupation. There are different occupations that we usually have. You find like a marketer, for example, that is a person who goes in many other areas. The risk profile of a marketer and an accountant who sits in the office is a bit different. But since also insurance works on the law of numbers, that the way Timothy has said, the few who are unlucky are assisted by the majority who are the lucky ones. So we put all those parameters together and then come up with a risk profile of organizations so that we can be able to give you what actually suits you as a client or as an individual.
But let me ask, when organizations come to you guys, especially to provide this health insurance to their employees, do they look at, I am a marketer and this is a receptionist, probably?
No, then they will not be able to look at that.
Why?
But from our own perspective, we'll be able now to work out and know within this population, these are the risk profiles that we have, and this is how we can be able to calculate the premium so that it can be able to cover the benefits that they have given us. So it is our duty as professionals to make sure that we can be able to calculate that from what they have already been given us. Yes, it is not them to do it.
Okay.
Yes.
Timothy, so people say that, of course, NHIF covers the bed only when you go to any hospital, and most of the people prefer the comprehensive one from the private sectors. So how can you talk about this narrative?
This is one narrative that we have been working very hard to change. Because gone are the days when NHIF used to cover for bed only. I'll give you a simple example. We do offer chemotherapy nowadays. Chemotherapy is something that you go, you get the medicine, and you go home. If we were to cover for bed, what would we do?
Good answer.
So we moved from covering the bed only. and we started giving what we call packages. So we have an outpatient package, we have an inpatient package, we have a dialysis package, we have an oncology package, and we have a maternity package, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
What we have done is we have classified our facilities, that is the healthcare providers, into two categories, and we have contracted them in those two categories. There is one that we call the comprehensive, and there's the other one which we call the non-comprehensive.
Okay.
In the comprehensive one, these are mainly government facilities, mission facilities, and small private facilities. In the comprehensive contract, we cover everything. If you are an inpatient or if you require surgery, because we also have a surgical package. In the non-comprehensive, we pay something we call a rebate. Which is a rebate is calculated based on the level of the hospital. And it is standard across the country. If you are a level 4 hospital, you'll get a rebate of 4,000 of 3,000 for every night that you have spent in that hospital, the non-comprehensive hospitals. If you are in a level 6, for example, Nairobi Hospital or Kenyatta or Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital, NHIF is going to pay a rebate of 4,000 shillings for every night that you spend. So we don't pay bed only, because if we were paying for bed, I'm sure a bed or accommodation in Nairobi Hospital is way above the 4,000 that we are paying. And this, on the same note, the accommodation in KNH is below the 4,000 that we are paying. So we moved from the bed only. And I'm glad we have an opportunity even like this
to come and talk about
to come and talk and clarify these things, so that we don't continue talking about beds. Now we offer packages.
There's a time you guys were talking about increasing the rates that especially employed people are paying. So is it still 1,200 bob for each individual?
The amount that we pay is gazetted, and it's dependent on the amount that you are earning. From 150 shillings for people who are earning below 5,999 to a maximum of 1,700 for people who are earning 100,000 above. However, with the amendment of the NHIF Act last year, there is a proposal for a percentage, 2.75% of the gross income, to be deducted for NHIF. However, this is still on the public participation bit, so the regulations have not been published to operationalize the NHIF Act 2022.
Oh, that's a good one. So let me ask Julius, how would I know that I've chosen a great cover, a good cover that is very comprehensive?
Let me just break it easily, and I am happy because we talk so much about wellness in today's world.
Yes.
One of the things that you need to know when you are buying a medical insurance cover is, as we had said earlier, what are the primary covers? One of the primary covers is the hospitalization, and somebody goes and that person is admitted. I think you can bear with me that most of the fundraisers we have ever done is because of somebody who was admitted.
True.
Then there is the second primary cover is the outpatient cover, which you go to the hospital, you are seen by a doctor, and then you go back home. Then there are also auxiliary covers. The auxiliary covers are the likes of the dental, optical, maternity, and any other cover that is you need within that. Based on the population of your organization, or even for you as an individual, you need to know what is my comprehensive cover. If I am in the age group between, let's say, 18 to 35, do I need all those ones? Maybe I have small children. I still also need to make sure that I have my outpatient cover there working. I am also in the reproductive age. I also need the maternity cover there. So these are the specific functions of your advisor, who from here, like us being risk advisor in health insurance, that is what we always make sure we give you. We tell you, out of all these packages, this one fits your organization because of the dimensions that you have given us, because of maybe your geographical area that you have given us, because of your age group that also you have given us, or that will be able to fit your organization at that time.
When I talk about NHIF, something that comes to mind is the UHC, Universal Health Coverage. So how far is it in Kenya? Has it been implemented? What are the steps that we are taking towards it?
I would say, first of all, that UHC is a journey.
Explain to the viewers what UHC entails.
UHC entails having all the citizens of this country, irrespective of their social or economic status,
Yes.
the ability to access healthcare without suffering financial catastrophe. That should be the basic understanding of UHC.
Well,
that the government is committed to ensuring that every resident in Kenya can be able to access quality healthcare in an affordable manner without necessarily spending so much from their pocket. UHC was envisioned in Vision 2030.
Yes.
And that's why I'm saying it's a journey. Because for us to achieve UHC as a country, we must build from where we know to where we don't know. For instance, at NHIF,
Yes.
we know our members. The members who are in formal sector and the members who are in the informal sector. But there are also other members who are not able to pay, and we call them indigents, who are not
Yes.
able to pay even a single cent for their health insurance. That's where the government comes in now, in order to be able to pay for their premiums and then allowing them to access healthcare. There is a launch that is set for the 20th of October this
Okay.
year.
This year?
Yes, in Kericho County.
We have 7 years to go to the 2030.
Yes, and even this one, we are still building on the blocks that we have been having. For instance,
Yes.
the government has been sponsoring around 1 million households since January of 2022. Now we are building on that 1 million with another number so that we continue bringing on board the people who cannot be able to pay for themselves.
Yeah.
And when we talk about the 2.75% is for creating a bigger pool so that we can be able to bring everybody on board and to ensure that all of us can be able to access health cover.
So what is happening this year?
This year we are launching it,
Yeah.
and the launch is also going in tandem with the regulations, which I mentioned earlier that they are undergoing public participation, which now will give the framework in which we can be able to roll out UHC, and as we proceed, we can be able to know how many people have we covered now, who is remaining, because for now, you can cover me when I'm an indigent because probably I'm unemployed and I cannot be able to pay. Then next year I have an opportunity, I get employed.
Yes.
I should be able to move now to the formal sector and leave out that position for somebody else who probably had not been picked to be paid for by the government and even the county government. And I wish to mention here that we also have constituencies
Yes.
which have which have partnered with NHIF and have identified vulnerable people within their localities and sponsored them for NHIF cover. Examples like Masinga CDF, Kitui Central CDF, like Kipia East CDF, they are all over. The MPs there have been able to identify the vulnerable people,
Yes.
pay for them through the CDF kitty so that these people can be able to access healthcare.
Hey, wewe nakwambia tutakuelect next year. Hey, ile sera umepigia government, you've done a good job doing that. And how does now the private sector come in terms of the UHC?
Yeah, the way the private sector works with the NHIF or with the government is that the UHC being one of the SDGs of 2030 is that there is a whole service chain. Okay? There is the service providers, which are the hospitals. There is also the healthcare system itself. There is also the administration of it. While the government is looking for the funding, the private sector is there to make sure that it gives them that administration aspect, that systems that they can be able to make sure that the infrastructure that they are going to roll out, it is actually going to reach even to everyone within the country. Because the private sector has been there in terms of medical longer also, and also they have been able to set those systems with all facilities within the country for them now to come up for administration purposes, to make sure that the cover that the NHIF is giving is quality to everyone who is getting it, and also it is reaching to everyone, and also avoids a lot of inefficiencies. So
Okay.
that is where now the private sector comes in,
Yes.
and they work closely in terms of complementing each other.
That's okay. We want to take a short commercial break. Remember, also on set, I have an amazing audience right here who want to hear more about the health insurances and how well they are included in it as well. Be it you're employed, non-employed, kama unafanyia serikali kazi, or yeah, you're in the private sector. So don't touch that dial. We are coming back with more. Stay tuned. Welcome back. If you just joined us, this is Health and Wellness, and my name is Zaitun Ali. We are discussing about health insurances, and before we went on the break, we were also talking about what is the role of the private insurances in this universal health coverage. And I would also like to throw in a question before I invite my audience, vibrant people in the society who also want to be included in this conversation. But for private health insurance, there's a factor that they say you guys support the non-comprehensive features. So maybe talk about that as you also complement it, yeah?
Yes. NHIF is not in competition with the private insurance. And private insurance
Being diplomatic.
is not in competition with NHIF.
Yeah? So you
We
complement.
complement one another. How does this work?
Yeah.
I mentioned that we have two types of contracts,
Yes.
the comprehensive and non-comprehensive. In the non-comprehensive, you will require a private insurance so that you can be able to satisfactorily have your bills covered. And that's where now the private insurance comes in to complement that which NHIF has been doing. We do also have some things that we may not be able to cover, but the private insurance may be able to cover.
Yeah.
So we do complement each other as opposed to competing against each other.
But Julius, let me ask, what don't you cover on your private health insurance?
Just to add on what Timothy has said, well, also I'm coming to that.
Even before, alisema correctly?
Yes, he said it very correctly.
That is a good one.
Yeah, actually we complement each other.
Yeah.
NHIF has classified hospitals in a certain way. Okay, they have class A, class B, class C. Actually, class A to them is the government hospitals.
Yeah.
Class B is mostly mission hospitals and community-based. Then class A is the ones, the private hospitals that we usually have. You find most of these hospitals, what NHIF does, it is not 100% the treatment, the whole of the treatment that it is done there. So the private insurance will take over after they have paid what they call the packages, as he had even said earlier. So the private insurance now comes in and also it's able to make sure that it takes care of that. When it comes to what is covered and what is not covered,
Yes.
we say the options that you give, it is what most of the private insurances work with. Yeah. We work with that, and we are able also to advise on you on what our private insurance will not be able to cover. I can give examples is that anything which is, for example, intentional is never covered, like is not covered by the private insurance, which is intentional but must also be proven, mostly by either the police or by, like for example, suicide must be also proven by a government official. You cannot just say this person died because of this, or this person was at the hospital because of this and all that. So there are those specific standard exclusions that are not able to be covered by the private insurance. Like anything that is covered by any other insurance, NHIF comes first, pays, and then we pay the next one.
Okay.
That is how the private insurance works, so that you are not benefiting in both insurances, but you are always, you are getting what is over and above what the government is not able to be able to cover.
So what I'm hearing is we need both.
It's always good to have both. And of course,
Yeah.
NHIF is compulsory. We must all of us have it.
By
so
default, yeah.
by default, we must have it. It is a primary cover.
Yes.
Then the private insurance comes in. Then it takes care of what they have not been able to cover. You'll find most of the packages also that he has talked about, like the likes of MRI and all that. Some of the private hospitals will cover to a certain limit for NHIF. So the private insurance will come in and take what is over and above that, and it will also be able to cover. So it is always good if you are able to be able to cover both, to have both insurances.
What about some of the chronic diseases? Kidney
Yes,
transplant? Or
chronic conditions in today's world, they are all covered because the covers that we have, they are enhanced covers.
Okay.
In fact, just to go through what most of the private insurance covers is, one, we take care of wellness. The wellness is medical checkups that you can be able to go with. We also take care of any psychological and mental issues which have been very rampant since the advent of COVID.
Yeah.
We are also being able to cover that. So we cover the primary health care in terms of preventive care. Then we cover the treatment part. We take care of the treatment when that person is at the hospital, that's the medical expenses. Then after that, there are also other conditions which, when you are discharged, we still follow, like doing home nursing, or what we call post-management care. Like even cancer, you know, the issues of palliative care, when you don't have to be at the hospital. Still, the private health care will be able to cover.
And just briefly before we go to the audience, what will make maybe a Kenyan, perhaps, to go outside like India to get a kidney transplant, or China, those countries outside abroad?
Yes, the reasons that sometimes people have to go out of the country is because the healthcare in those countries is quite advanced compared to us here.
Okay.
And since most of the private insurance have also partnered to those hospitals, maybe in India, in Europe, in many other countries, we work closely with them so that within the cover that you have also been able to buy from us, or within the benefits that you have, that kidney transplant can be done. That cancer management treatment can also be done in those countries.
Still with your card?
With your card that you have, and you don't have to pay cash.
Okay.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
Do you do that for NHIF?
Yes, we do. For NHIF, we have a foreign treatment package.
Good.
And we have been taking people to India, even Turkey, for treatment. And one more thing that makes people to go outside the country, as Julius has mentioned, the advancement in technology and also the costs of medical care.
Yeah, they're fairly affordable?
Yes, sometimes they could be slightly cheaper as opposed to having the transplant done here. For instance, we have what we call the major specialized surgeries, whereby a member is entitled to a maximum of 1 surgery per year to a maximum of 500,000 shillings. And kidney transplant is part of that.
That is a good one.
Yes.
So, karibuni, our audience. Who will go first? You can shoot a question, a comment based on the topic of discussion.
I am Elijah, and I have a question.
Yeah.
I personally have the NHIF and a private insurance, but for both, which are the requirements for me, like maybe to add a spouse or even children, or can I also add my mother and my father?
Dependents, yeah? Thank you for that question.
Thank you. I'll go first.
Okay.
To update your dependents with NHIF, you'll be required to fill a form. If you want to include your spouse, you'll be required to provide a marriage certificate. Or if your wedding was traditional, you'll be required to provide an affidavit as a legal document showing this is a union which is legally recognized by law.
Can we stay Mtaki?
There is a lot about Kamistay which has been handled by the Marriage Act. But for us, we just want you to prove to us that you are living together as a husband and wife. And then you also give us a copy of your ID and your spouse's ID. And for children, to include the children, you'll bring us a copy of the birth notification for children who are below 6 months, and a copy of the birth certificate for children who are above 6 months. And for the children, they will be covered up to 21.
Or not 18, eh?
Not 18.
Oh.
The amended act now has pushed it to 21. And if they are beyond 21, there should be evidence that they are in formal training or in formal colleges.
No, thank you. You have anything to add?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the private sector, it's actually almost the same. If it is an individual cover that you have bought, you are not aligned to any company that maybe you are employed, we'll still also need, if you want to add your spouse, definitely we'll need either a marriage certificate or an affidavit that is signed saying this is your wife. Okay. For the children, definitely we'll need a birth notification and either a birth certificate later. But the birth notification, since you will need to add the, of course I am expecting you to add the child just after the birth, that is what is there at that time. So you'll be able to give us that. But if you are employed, so it is your employer who is communicating to us. It is them just to tell us we have employed Mr. So-and-so, and these are the date of birth for the okay, for example, if the spouse and the children that we usually have. In insurance, we say we operate on utmost good faith. We will not ask the HR of that organization that you need to give us a birth certificate or marriage certificate at that time.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
That is what we will need.
And there was also something that he mentioned about the parents. I wish to clarify that you cannot add your parents to your card. Probably you can get them a cover. You can register them as voluntary or self-employed people, and you'll be paying for them 500 shillings per month. In NHIF setup, the card covers the member, a declared spouse, and declared children.
So I can also ask a question on that. The 500 bob per month, is it for one, like a mom only, or is it for both parents?
The 500 will be for both parents. You will have one as the contributor and the other one as the dependent.
Okay.
Just as the same way you are contributing, and in your card you have your spouse and you have children.
Okay.
Now the parents will have one card.
So does it cover all tests done, or is it consultation alone, or is it medicine alone, prescription? What is it?
That card is going to give you the same benefits
Yes.
that a person who is paying 1,700 gets. And you'll
Fair
be
enough.
able to access the packages, the outpatient, the oncology, the dialysis, renal package. You'll be able to access them.
Okay. Thank you so much for that question. Maybe anyone else next?
At first, it was a question in the beginning of the session, but I've come to understand that there is a difference. So for my case in 2019, and I went a surgery, a nice surgery, but the NHIF wasn't the one which had to cover it, like PCA Kikuyu, they didn't allow NHIF to cover for the operation. So it was a question, but now I've gotten to understand that you need both NHIF and the other private one.
Or how they are complementing each other?
But now I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah, you've said at 21 you can have your own NHIF from your parents, but what if, like, I have someone, maybe my cousin or someone who has gotten sick under my care or my watch, I take him or her to the hospital and, like, I'm not able to cash out every bill. Well, how can my NHIF cover for the medication?
So I think that question can also be asked this: can I take someone else with my own card?
The simple answer there is
Because we are
no.
family.
The simple answer there is no, because that will be impersonation.
Okay.
And nowadays we are identifying people biometrically. Our members, we identify them biometrically. So if my cousin goes with my card to the hospital and puts the fingerprint, the system will automatically decline. So this membership is not transferable. You cannot be able to say, now that I'm not using it, let my cousin use it. That is not allowed. It is impersonation, and it is not allowed.
And for cases maybe like emergency cases like that one, can they just go to a hospital and be tended to first and then maybe pay later because maybe it's an emergency?
Now that I believe that will be under the jurisdiction now of the hospital administration. And this also challenges us and points towards the need to have health insurance, because you may not know when you need
when an
to
emergency
use.
arises.
Yeah, you may not know.
Yeah.
So it's always important to have your NHIF, either your NHIF card updated through your employer or by self-employed, and if you are able, also to have the private insurance.
Okay, well answered.
Yeah,
Yes.
just also to add on that, you know, as we started, we said insurance covers what is an eventuality, unforeseen, that comes. You are not sure whether it will come or it will not come. And also, when the reason that you turn 21 and even you are not covered under your own parent is because now you are a separate entity. Yeah, it works both in any insurance called insurable interest. You can't even claim from your father or your mother at that time. So your neighbor or even that friend of yours you sit together, the best thing is to advise the person to also have their own insurance separately. And I will also tell you about healthcare, about that you may go there with impersonation, it works. But the information that the doctors have, it is yours. Okay? So at the end of the day, your medical history is actually distorted. Okay? So some of the things that we do, it is actually can also affect us, whether we have been caught or we have not been caught. So it's always good to be good citizens.
Okay.
And also to add on that, because it's a very interesting thing, and in the days gone by, people used to do it. Suppose there is the unfortunate event of a death. Let's say I was using, my wife's sister was using my card, and then the person passes on. Now, how will my wife be able to convince the other healthcare provider that they have resurrected? so it's a very tough. It's something that should not be encouraged.
Meaning they cannot use that card again.
Yes,
on any other.
It cannot. Even with the NHIF system, there is a way you can discharge someone once they have undergone their treatment. You can discharge them to go home, or you can discharge them under referral to go to another facility, or you can discharge them as dead. Once you have discharged a person as dead, that card is automatically flagged. It can never be used again.
Yeah, now we get it. Okay, thank you. Well answered.
Tuseme, I'm a Kenyan citizen.
Yes.
Nishachukua hiyo bima. And then I ship to Uganda or Tanzania or East Africa or another country in the world. Can it be able to help me when I'm there? Or it's just when I'm in Kenya, or how does it go?
Julius, you had mentioned about this. Maybe you can answer that.
Yes, thank you for that question. The way private insurance works is it has also territorial limits.
Yeah.
Okay? So if your territorial limit was Kenya, the card will be able to work here in Kenya. However, if you travel within other countries for a short stay and you are sick there, you can use your money and you will be able to be paid back when you come back. Most of the covers today, because of the East Africa community, they actually can be also used within the East African region. Only if you make sure that you have already informed your insurer that I have traveled to Uganda or I have traveled to Tanzania, that can be able to be arranged. That can work. Yes, for within that time. Yeah.
From the NHIF perspective, currently NHIF has only contracted facilities within the jurisdiction of Kenya. So if you go to Tanzania or to Dubai, you may not be able to use the NHIF card there.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. So one more question as we wind up quickly.
Oh, so I'm James. I have a private, I've insured myself the private and insurance. So then I moved to an area where the only hospital available is a public one. So, and can I be treated there, or what will happen?
Okay, thank you. What happens is in private healthcare, we have the panel of hospitals that we usually have, okay? When you move to an area where there is no hospital which is in the panel, you can still go to any facility there, you are treated, you get the claims, then they will be able to be paid. So you are still within your cover.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that was quick. So let me take one more.
My name is Paul. I have a question because here I can see we are youth.
Yes.
So I have a question to the viewers and even to us who are here. My question is, I have 3 questions. The first one is, how much coverage do I need? That's one. And the second is, how long will I need the policy? And the third one is, how does my credit score affect my insurance premium? Yeah.
Okay,
You'll start with that?
I can start with the last one.
The last one, definitely.
From my NHIF perspective, your credit score does not affect your premiums. We don't price the premiums based on the credit score. That's for the last question. For the second question, in terms of how much coverage you need, you have to look at what is NHIF giving me, what is NHIF not giving me. And this which NHIF is not giving me, can I be able to get from the private insurance? A quick example, if you are under the national scheme or you are a voluntary contributor, currently you don't get optical cover. We cannot take care of your glasses. And we can also not take care of your dental case, for example, root canal. But the private insurance can be able to take care of that. So you'll have to evaluate that. And then you can be able to know what the amount of premium that you're going to pay, so as to be able to get the cover that you need.
Yeah, so for him, he's under 18 to 35. So I think you had mentioned this before. Yes. Yeah, you can just tell him again.
Yeah, I want to start with the last one again, also credit score. In the way your renewal works, actually also checks on your credit score. For example, if your insurance is within an organization, so we just check the claim experience at the end of the year, and also we'll be able now to work out, depending on the claim experience, on how much your premium at that year will be. We can either opt to give you more enhancements in your cover that you have, or we can be able to give you a rebate. A rebate is like a discount that we can be able to give you as an organization. That is your credit score. In fact, today, because of the wellness campaign which are ongoing, there are even ways of making sure we can be able to follow you and know how your wellness is affecting your claims at the end of the day. So that those campaigns will assist you in terms of the premium that you will get at the renewal. Because most of the covers that we have are annual covers. Even NHIF, you pay an annual covers also. So it's an annual cover. So at the end of the year, we'll be able to sit, review your covers, and be able to know, this is the claim experience that you had, and this is where you are. And we can be able to know whether to adjust the premiums upwards, remain where it is, or add even enhancements for you.
Okay.
The question of coverage, of course, he has talked about it, and he has said, actually, it is your need. Check your needs very well. Check what you do as a person. Check your risk areas that you usually have when you are making that decision on this is the cover that you have. And of course, check the value for money. It will be important.
Good. Thank you so much for making time to be with us. Thank
you.
you, audience, for also coming through. And this has been Health and Wellness Show. And today the conversation was about health insurance. You've seen how beneficial it is, and you actually need the two to complement each other, both private and the public one. So stay tuned for yet another episode next week. You can find this one also on YouTube. Find us on our Instagram and Facebook at KTN Home and at Ali_Zaitun. So where can they find you?
You can find us NHIF. We have a Twitter account at NHIF Kenya. You can also follow us on Instagram. You can follow us we are also on TikTok.
Wow.
And we also have a Facebook account, NHIF Kenya. Find us there. You can ask questions and we'll be glad to assist you. We also have over 70 branches and we are in all Huduma centers across the country.
Thank you so much. Julius?
Thank you. Thank you. You can find us also at Twitter account at Liaison Group, Facebook account at also Liaison Group, and also my own Twitter account at Julius Ketheka. We are also within East Africa region. We are a Pan-African company, and the cover that we usually get is also very much enhanced covers as we work closely for the universal healthcare coverage. Thank you.
Thank you so much. If there's anything that you feel hasn't been answered, also SMS us on our line 22151. Stay blessed until